provided by our bloggers or authors are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, municipality, individual, or anyone or anything.
He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. Welcome to Lifeguarding with Dr. Michael Kachmar. And today's date is September the 26th, the year of our Lord, 2022. And thank you for watching us. We have the whole crew today.
So how long have you been married for now?
I don't know how many hours, but your head is being cut off. So
it's fine. Don't worry about it.
So
why don't you show everyone your ring? Now you got me off
hang on. So then we have Sean. Let's say say hello to everybody first. We have Sean here today. Sean, thank you for being here. And we have Tyler. So I'll show the...
You got any ice in that ring?
Ooh.
Kiss the ring. Kiss the ring.
No, I'm not kissing her. Anyway, thank you for joining us today. This is Lifeguarding with Dr. Michael Kachmar and the crew, Lifeguards off duty. We just finished up our season, actually. This weekend was the last day, Sunday, and so we're officially closed. It was some big ocean. We had a few drownings last week, but this week, no, I don't think anybody drowned this weekend with the big ocean.
No.
A lot of lifeguards stayed on the weekend. I think that made a big difference. I know that La Valette was there, we were there, and Spring Lake. So a lot of our local beaches had patrols, albeit only small, but they kept people out. And like we say, stay out and stay alive. And so a lot of people, I don't think there was one drowning in this weekend, which there was some big ocean, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, no drowning is good news, but also good news, Kachmar, what happened this weekend?
So I got married.
You were waiting on that.
Yeah, I got married this weekend. So we did a little something different with the marriage. It was unique.
Now, whose idea was this?
My wife. And so she wanted to have it on a lake. Her friend owns a bed and breakfast in Spring Lake.
Shout out to Walden on the pond.
Right, Spring Lake in New Jersey. Not Spring Lake Heights, Spring Lake. And it's beautiful, beautiful setting. And she wanted to have it there. And I said, well, first of all, an outside wedding is a big risk. September is a great time of year. So the risks are minimal. That's why we had it this time of year. But anytime you have a wedding outside, you're taking a big risk. That's number one. I said, listen, let's have it inside. Nah. Then she said also she wants to be in the boat. She wants to be brought along the lake up to the venue, which is right on the lake, in my lifeguard boat. And I have a Van Dyne lifeguard boat. And I just had it tripped out, actually. Had new foot braces put in. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, are you sure? And so then I said, listen, I got to have at least 6 lifeguards. I have to have 2 to row and basically 4 to catch, And because, launching the boat and picking the boat up, it's bad enough in the ocean. But, when we do competition, you want to have at least 4 guys catching the boat. And of course, she's in a gown and, she's being lifted up.
You can't let the bride get wet on her wedding day.
No. So we were a little concerned about that. So we got together 6 lifeguards and we trained like for a tournament. And I think it really came out good.
Who was it that you trusted to row your bride?
Well, you. So we had Tyler. Well, I trusted. You guys are part of the show. I mean, I would never. You would. It would be mutiny on a bounty. So we had. But here's the key. Out of the audience. Who was the bow and who was the stern? Now, normally the power guy, which a lot of times is the bigger guy, or the gal would be in the stern. That's the power, and the steering is the bow. So, but I think you guys did it the other way around. Where were you, Sean? I don't remember.
I was in the stern. We were going real fast on that thing where it was necessary, right, Tyler?
Right. So what happened was we trained.
We were all about speed that day.
We trained. Here's the thing about the lake. We had some unknowns before we did this. The one unknown is how deep the lake is. So I got different reports. One person told me, listen, I think it's very shallow because the lake freezes like in 2 seconds. Other people said, "Oh, I've seen kayaks out there, but nothing big." So Friday we did some test runs, and we realized that the lake's very shallow, And
And we did about 10 test runs, and
Right,
I don't
right.
think we got stuck once.
no, the edges of the lake are very shallow. A couple inches, and it gets a little bit deeper. I'd say probably the deepest part of that lake is 3 foot. That's how, and it's shallow. And the tide goes up and down a little bit. There's actually a tide there because it is hooked up to the ocean, but way, way down. It's called Wreck Pond. And there's some big fish in there. And so anyway, it was Tyler and Sean. And so they rowed the boat. Anyway, I just want to say, here's our whiteboard. We always, Katz got married 9/24/22. So we have that in perpetuity. So we got some clips. So we're going to show you a couple things. We're gonna talk about it. Show some clips today, and then I think we're going to do a nice 15 minute YouTube video and pump that out. But there was some memorable things we could talk about. But why don't we watch? So here's the premise. So what happened is that we have an outside venue. We had tents. Everybody was set up. We actually had a violinist and somebody playing the cello, music while she was being rowed in. And you're gonna see me standing there, and they come around. You might hear in the background a train whistle. There's a train that goes by, coming down to, I think it goes down to Point Pleasant, and we're like 1 or 2 stations above that. And she gets out of the boat, comes up. We have our vows, and then she walks out. So what else? What else was going on there? It was a beautiful day. We were worried about this hurricane coming up.
Yeah, the day before the wedding, there was a lot of northeast wind that we
Howling.
Yeah, that still didn't affect us on the test runs that we were doing.
No, the wind was howling. It was like it was up to 20 knots, and it was cold. It was damn cold that night. Not our night. Our night. I mean, it turned out to be 70 degrees.
Yeah, the wedding was great. The weather.
Blue skies. Probably by night it was maybe got maybe 68, 69. Mm-hmm. We had some heaters, but we didn't even need them. And we packed it in at 10 o'clock. There's a noise ordinance, but by that time everybody was partied out anyway. And it really came out really great. I think that really can't complain about anything. I'm trying to think. Was there anything? So we had the great food was great. We had outside bathrooms. They brought in with a truck, and it's all air conditioned and everything. It's really nice. And what else did they do? We had the food. We had the dance floor, and it was great. It was amazing. The guys putting the tent up were amazing, and
the venue was cool because like the dance floor was separated from like the sitting area, which is all outside, by like a line of bushes or shrubs that you couldn't see over. So it gave a nice separation.
Yeah. What was also nice was that the lake was calm like a lake.
Yeah, it was very calm.
Everybody was taking pictures after the wedding of having people take their pictures with the lake in the background. So you'll see some of that. Actually, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And the DJ was good. And I'm trying to think what else we had. Oh, and the other thing is we had the granddaughter. She sang Hallelujah.
Yeah, we have a little clip of that.
A little clip of that. And again, we'll get some more. It was very, very beautiful. She's 9 years old, and she got up there and she sang. But the key here, so for everybody who's listening, this is a Van Dyne lifeguard boat, 1995. It's been remodeled. It's refinished. It's like a beautiful piece of furniture. And she got in on the other side of the lake, and she was rowed in to the wedding, and that's how she came up. On a dock, we made a makeshift dock. I built a makeshift dock, and she walked up, and that was it. So you want it with no further ado, you want to show some, so we'll start it. So here we go. So we'll talk through it a little bit. So which one we start now? So
all right,
you want to talk?
Okay. Just parked the boat, waiting for the bride. It's going to be like 15 minutes.
What'd you think of the outfits?
I loved, the outfits are great.
This was a last minute decision. We bought sailor hats and full turtlenecks for this.
That was great.
Kachmar and his wife did it.
You guys could have been right in the movies. This was great.
I was walking around with a cigar all night.
Yeah, that was great.
All right, so now we have us launching.
So this is launching.
So we got a couple lifeguards in the water here with waders. So the whole time we were sitting there, because there was like a 15-20 minute gap between when we got over there and by the time Virginia walked over with the rest of the lifeguards that were going to help us launch, people were walking by and just laughing their asses off when they saw us, because we were like kicked back. I was like sitting there with my feet up, sitting on the forecastle seat, the one in the front, Is that what it's called?
No, well, the bow seat.
The seat at the very tip of the boat.
No, that'd be the bow seat. Just the bow seat.
No. The bow seat is where you row from.
No. That was another. All would be bow seat. I don't know what you call it.
Well,
but anyway.
I'm sitting there just like kicked back with my feet up on the oars.
Right.
And I saw one dude drove by in his truck, did a double take, turned around at the end of the street, and then came back.
To check
and you
it
could
out.
see him just like throwing his head back, laughing when he saw us.
Yeah. The thing with this is that the reason why you guys waited is that the wedding planner who we had was thinking that you guys were going to come back and then they were going to launch the boat. And I go, no, that you can't launch the boat. Those are the guys who have to launch. So he's waiting for you guys to come back because you had a catch.
Oh, he's waiting. Yeah, he's waiting for the other
and
guys.
So
to
I
walk
finally
back.
realized because it was getting long. I'm like, what's going on? You know. So go ahead. So
What else? What were those two ladies saying?
Yeah, we had two ladies who actually stopped and parked, and just watched for the next. They got there like 2:50. I think we wanted to launch around 3. They just sat there for 15 minutes and just like were looking at us, taking pictures. And
wow,
just loving it.
Yeah, that's something though. So let's. I want to see them.
So this is us launching into.
She goes. Almost. Right, I've been doing it for
So it's
9
very,
years.
very. So you guys should have went more perpendicular, but you finally got some water there. It's very shallow, guys. I mean, the water's like 2 foot here. So you're going sideways. You should have went straight out.
Yeah, but again, our runs were really quick. Apparently, for when we tested the day before, the guy wanted us to go longer for
I
the
understand
row.
what you're saying. Yeah.
So we get out there and like now Sean and I are just talking to Virginia, who was, credit to her, like totally calm the other time, even when
Calm as a lake.
even when we had our little snafu that we'll get to later.
Right.
She was like rock solid. Did not seem nervous at all. She was loving it so much. So we get out there and I'm like, so Virginia, what kind of music would you like for your voyage? And she goes, do you have any sailor songs that you can sing? So I just started, what was it? What was the song I started
What were
singing?
you doing with a drunken sailor?
Oh, well, no, I put that on our Instagram story. Yeah. What will you do with a drunken sailor? No, what was the one? Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea. And then she, oh my God, she was loving it. She thought it was so funny. All right. So that was us launching. And then this is some video of us coming around the other side.
That's the train.
And you can hear the train in the background. And then this is us pulling her up to the dock here. So in between that launch video and this video here and the video you just saw. So this is us pulling her up to the dock. But in between here, Sean, do you want to?
Yeah, we just hugged. We were trying to take up extra time. Everyone said that we went too fast, so we hugged the opposite side of the lake, which is also what we were planning, and went a little too close to the land line and stuck around.
Got stuck in the mud.
Got stuck in the mud.
So
And
thank God,
whose
not most
fault
people
was that,
didn't.
Sean?
Nobody really.
What?
Only a few
Whose fault
people
was that?
noticed it.
Well, the guy in the bow seat wasn't really steering. He was getting a little distracted talking.
Well, I was trying to, comfort our passenger.
True.
Yeah. I'm very
So
sure.
yeah, we got stuck at about
Right.
3 feet. So we just stopped moving, and I'm like, nah, we're good. We can row out of here. And I'm just like pulling dirt and rocks. And Sean's like, I got to get out and push us. I'm like, we're not doing that. So we just sat there for like 45 seconds, just pulling water and going nowhere.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where we're like, all right, we got to do something. Like it's probably getting pretty nervy up there. But
We were imagining Kachmar freaking out. Apparently, you weren't.
No, I was gonna make these guys take their pants off and walk out there and get you, or I would have done it. But but I knew. I'm just saying, these guys. I told them stay away. I knew where you were going. It was going to be bad because just before you went, there was these beautiful white swans that flew in and landed right where you were going to go,
really?
and they were standing. You could see their bellies. They were like walking. So how big is a swan?
was like 3 inches,
three.
yeah.
I mean, it was like maybe 6 inches
yeah,
of
it
water.
was seriously shallow. So it got to a point where like Sean's like, I'm gonna get out and push us out, and I was like, oh, this is gonna look so bad. Like we rehearsed this 10 times.
A lot of people couldn't even see it, but
We were so I was like freaking out because you know how unstable those boats can be. But luckily we were so dug in that the boat was pretty stable.
Yeah.
So Sean hopped out, pushed us out, and then when he got back in, I had to make sure,
right.
Well, Sean had to make sure that I was pushing my weight the other way. He's like, lean the other way. I was like, I got it, bro. I got it. So he gets back in the boat. Now there's mud all over his pants.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I felt so bad, dude.
Yeah.
I felt so bad. And then
We were really worried about making sure Virginia didn't have any mud on her dress.
yeah, but it all worked out. We got it out, and we were able to to push
So-
ourselves out, and then then we have this
Beautiful
moment.
scene. Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, let's play this. So that's really nice. So comes in, we're back oaring it. So this is the venue. We got 4 lifeguards. These are all lifeguards catching right there. Brown, we got Nick, we got Frank, and Kenny. So let's
Yep,
just do
and
that
then-
again. Hit that again. Hit that. Let me see. So here she is. She's coming up.
Yeah, I like to think, I said this a couple times on Saturday, I like to believe that us getting stuck made that round of applause like that little much louder.
Yeah, it
than
was.
would've
Yeah,
been.
a lot of people were fired up, and they were wondering what was going on. I think everybody. I said that was planned. That was all. That.
We
was a
walk,
gimmick.
we walk up, we hop out of the boat, we walk up, we're putting our shoes on, and one of the caterers like taps me on the shoulder. He's like, man, that was a good job. I'll tell you what though, if you guys dropped her out of that boat, it would have been a different story. He said it was a little tense up here while you guys were stuck out there.
So show the rest.
So
of it, yeah.
now here we have
Virginia.
this is you guys giving your
Take
vows.
you, Michael,
This is a great scene too.
to be my wedded husband,
The whole
to
venue
have and
was
to
awesome.
hold from this day forward, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do us part,
You getting emotional, Catch?
according
Nah,
to God's
no.
holy word.
He was
It's just
that
what
day.
it was.
You were
beau-
getting emotional that
His
day.
grace.
Nah, I was just worried about you. I was ready. I was getting. I was ready to.
So yeah, that's you guys giving your vows. Here you are, walking back down the aisle. Big round of applause. Clap, clap, clap. Donna Woolley Yelovich commented, of course, Virginia is calm, cool, and collected. She has to be married to Mike.
Right. That's.
And this
So
is
this is
Ava.
granddaughter, 9 years old. Now that got me emotional. That I mean, I love that kid so much. I mean, I give my life for her. And you know what I wish? Talking about that, I want to get somebody who videoed the speech I gave and the girls gave, everybody gave. So let's
And then this is just a still
So
of
look at-
us right before we launched.
look
with
at that's a
Virginia.
great picture, man. Just leave that on for a while. So we got. Let's just talk, who we got here. So we got in the bow of the boat, which is the front of the boat, we have Tyler, and then to his left we have Nick. These are all lifeguards now. Then we have Sean sitting in the stern seat. I would say the next one in row is the lifeguard is Frank in the back, right? Frank,
Right there behind Virginia.
right behind you. Then we have Kenny Dougherty. He's former lifeguard. And then we have Brown and Jesse Brown. And then, of course, the lovely bride, Virginia. And there's our Van Dyne boat. And I think right there is a beautiful. And look at the lake, the beautiful day, the bright blue skies. And the Lord was really, he blessed us this day. And
I felt bad for Kenny because on his way, he lives like hour and a half
Right.
up north. On his way down, he got a call because he's a lineman, and he got a call that said, "All right, we're shipping out tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to go to Georgia to wait and see what this storm does in Florida."
Oh, he's going to work the line.
So-
Right.
So,
Oh,
he's on his way down to this wedding, expecting to spend the night down
Right,
the
yeah.
shore,
Oh.
hang out with all of us. Gets this call, so
Yeah.
he had to leave around like 7
Yeah.
or 8. They
Yeah.
leave, then he goes, meets up with the crew at 6 a.m. They're sitting around for a couple hours. They get a call like, yeah, we're not shipping out till like later in the week, so you guys
Oh,
can go home.
Put them in the middle there, our picture, yeah.
What?
And I just want to see our picture in a picture, I don't know why it's not
The
there.
video.
Oh, we can just go back.
So anyway, yeah. Well, my brother does the same thing. My brother does the videos. I mean, the video. He does he works for New Jersey Central Power and Light, and they get called out all the time, and they got to go.
That's a
But-
dangerous job,
Right.
huh?
But let me just. Can you go back with the one scene? I just want to show do the boat again where it's coming in.
With
I
the
want
train?
right here. No, so
Before we bring it
when
in?
you go back to the one before that. Let's do this with the train. That's it. That was all.
Yeah,
So,
that's-
We have a lot more. We just wanted to get ready for the show. We got to do a lot of editing, and so the turning. Look how beautiful that is. A beautiful picture right there. Now, if you look, there was people across the way watching.
There was people lined up everywhere.
Yeah,
Like the rumor of these two psychos sitting in sailor costumes
No,
in
it's
a
not psychos.
rowboat.
No, it's really. I'll tell you what. That fit Spring Lake to the T. I mean, this is so classic. Look at her. And then,
Everyone walking by was like, Sean's like, ahoy! And everyone walking by is like, there were these two kids riding by on bikes, and this one kid had a lampshade over his head, and they were singing some weird song. And they stop and look at us, and it's like a Mexican standoff
we
for a
both just
second.
look at each
And I
other.
look at him, and I'm like, Who's weirder?
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
they
can just tell you right now, that house, those houses right there, are $5 million houses.
Well, why don't you talk
$5
about
million
that
houses.
the house of the venue, the story about that place?
Well, just keep going, but just go a little bit more. Go to the next scene. Go to the next scene. I just want to.
We already watched all these.
Yeah, but I want to watch it again. I just want to see. It's not bad. Look at that. How
The
beautiful.
venue.
We got to appreciate this. Look how nice that is. Look at her. She's. And you wait now. Here, this is. I love what you guys. The other scene after that where you take her out. This is where this was the crucial point. We planned this. She had to turn around. And then you got one more after that.
I was joking around with Sean before she got in the boat. I was like,
she came out. I
was like, yo, should I pull out my phone and start playing the music that the band was playing on the Titanic when it went down?
No. So it came out perfect. Yeah.
Talk about the venue.
House, yeah.
So the venue where it's at, you could the venue. It was evidently right after the Civil War, there was a lot of homes down there that people couldn't afford, and they were sold. And they were sold to people up in different parts of the country. So this particular house where the venue's at was cut up, put on a barge, and sent up here to.
Oh, they floated it up here?
Yeah, yeah.
What, on a river, on the ocean?
Yeah. Let me see. I guess they rode up to Mississippi and then by trains after that. I mean, you could go back in the day. You could go up to Mississippi, up to the Great Lakes, over to New York. There was the
Wasn't
canal.
that like the Intercoastal Waterway or something?
No, that's something different. That's something different. But they
Where
did have
where is the intercoastal waterway?
Well, that's all. That starts in Barnegat Bay, or actually Point Pleasant, and goes all the way down to Florida. So it's all the inner water.
But is that the coast or is that?
No, it's inside.
No, it's all
Intercoastal,
rivers and shit.
No, it's the bay. Like it's Barnegat Bay is part of the Intercoastal Waterway.
So Barnegat Bay to
then you got to slip out.
LBI?
Then you got to slip out a little bit in the Delaware River or Delaware. Then it gets back in. So it's all along the coast of the United States. It's very similar. You have a barrier island and you have a bay inside, and then you got the mainland. So it's the bay. It's the water in between the ocean, and that's where they carved out for the boat. So I'm very sure they did a combination. But they could have put it on a big ship and just, put ships and brought it through the ocean too. I don't know exactly. She said barges. It could have been trains. I suspect back in that day, something big like that.
Probably a boat.
It could have been a little bit, yeah. Because you got to remember, it's 1865, 67, 68. You didn't have, machine. You didn't have cars or trucks. It would have been wagons. You had locomotives and steam. So you might have had some steam, trucks, but it was barges, ships. So it was brought up to Spring Lake, and they assembled it, and they made a house. It was somebody's private house. It turned into a bed and breakfast. I don't know what year. So that's how.
That is a big ass house.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's another place there called the Spring Lake Inn, which is another bed and breakfast, and that was moved actually from one end of town to the other, and they moved them on logs and stuff like that. Both of these places are not plumbed. Like you look in the hallways, there's the furniture's like lopsided. None of them are straight.
We were looking at. It's weird how like houses like that are made because the bedrooms are literally just a bed. And like a window. There's like no thought of a TV or anything. Like
no.
You probably didn't spend too much time in your room.
No.
The way the living rooms are set up, it's like they still had like the classic furniture in the house.
But Sean, you got to remember,
furniture is like on legs, tight knit, like so everyone can walk around the couches and not like walk through.
Kat, you ever see this?
People are sitting.
But
this is pretty incredible. This is the Indiana Bell building. I don't know where this is.
Rotated in 1930.
So, but this is incredible. They rotated this building. Let me screen share this.
Yeah, they had the technology back in those days. But remember, Sean, when they built these places, there was no air conditioning. There was no running water. There was no toilets like we have today. You have outhouses. So when they built them, you would bring water, you boil water, or when they started to get bathrooms, that was after they started to get them in. They had bathrooms back in the Roman Empire, but everyday housing. That's probably started right around after the war.
Yeah, I was mainly talking about like the interpersonal, like the way the houses are built.
So look at this.
Got it.
They took this building and they rotated it 90 degrees over the course of several inches a day, but they never shut off electricity or plumbing to this building. So like anyone that was working in there was still going to work every day while this was happening.
Well, I don't know how they get the water.
How incredible is that?
I don't know how they did the water, but
if you're doing it at an inch or two a day.
Yeah, I guess so. They could just reconnect it. Yeah, that's a good point.
I got a good one. How long do you guys think it took them to build the Empire State Building?
It wasn't like 18 months.
It was less than.
Really? What's your guess for that?
Yeah, that's a good point. A year, maybe a year.
And there was not one death either,
I think
right?
I know it within 10. I don't want to say because I want you to Google it anyway.
But when you talk about the Empire State Building too, like all these buildings that were built, they had no air conditioning. They had to open windows and get air. Yeah, so they didn't have air conditioning back in those days.
Just look up how long it took to build it.
That's wild.
Does it say?
It was completed in a record-breaking 1 year and 45 days. Is this just because there weren't regulations?
No,
Like they could just speed through shit?
No, people could die.
no.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
all
what it
right,
said.
now let's look at how long.
They could build stuff pretty quick.
The New World Trade Center has about.
Yeah.
The Freedom Tower.
Yeah, how long would that take? So
14 years from proposal to finish.
No,
They broke
no.
ground. Oh, no, this is the World Trade Centers.
Still.
yeah,
So the World Trade Centers
Fairly recent.
broke ground in 1966. How long did it take to build the Freedom Tower?
8 years.
$4 billion in 8 years to build between the start of construction in 06 and the first tenants moving in
Isn't
2014.
that crazy?
Can people live in the Freedom Tower? Are there apartments in there?
I don't know.
So let's look up how expensive that is.
So let's stay on topic here. So with the building, the venue was in a bed and breakfast called Walden on the Park.
You know, but it's cool like how the living rooms are like the furniture's very tight knit within all the rooms where there are living spaces, and it's just like clearly more about like what people like doing or talking to each other about rather than a TV.
Yeah, it's yeah. Well, if you want to see an old hotel, go down to Cape May. There's a place called the Congress Hall, and that was built before air conditioning was available. So you have a big hallway. You have screen doors for your front door, and the windows open up. You know, and bed and breakfast too. Remember, that was not built to be a bed and breakfast. Also, that was built to be somebody's house.
Yeah, but that's what
So
I'm
the
saying.
bedrooms are small. You know, kid's bedroom. They try to do the best they can and move walls and knock things down. But what gets me is, and I don't understand how it's cheaper to put a house, knock it down, put it on barges, and bring it up to New Jersey, as opposed to making it.
I don't think maybe not cheaper, but like you could say my house was imported. Like
I don't know.
some type
Maybe
of
they were
class.
looking for the classic house to build, but it might have been really hard to mill wood. But most things in life are not going to happen unless it's economically feasible. And so I don't know. But I tried to ask the question. But let's get back to the wedding and everything. It was a beautiful venue. So Virginia, who's my wife, her girlfriend owns this place, and so she really accommodated us, made it nice. There was rooms there. We stayed there. And it was just, she really made it nice. What she did before it, guys don't know, she had a ton of landscaping done, and all that brickwork that was there was all new. That's brand new. And where Virginia walked up, that was all graded.
It looked brand new. Yeah.
It's all brand new. And of course, we should have had pictures of the dock that I built. My dock. So
You might be able to see in that clip.
Couple pallets with like some rocks.
we
It
got-
looked
so
classy though.
What we're going to do is, I got a lot of people who were at the wedding. They're sending us all their video clips, and we're going to put together a montage and put out a video.
Tyler, what did you say? That it's a fine line between
There's a fine line between rustic and redneck.
yeah, and there was with that doc
With that
you
dock.
made,
That dock was rustic, but it was a couple like inches away from being redneck.
Yeah. Well, what I was really impressed with was, when the guys were putting the tents together. So we got tents, and what we did is we put chandeliers in there. I wanted that, and that kind of was like, talk about lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a tent. How do you spruce up a tent? So and I said, you guys.
The Edison bulbs were a nice touch.
Yeah. So we had the LED lights, but I said, can you guys got some kind of like. I said chandeliers. I was kidding, I wanted something decorative. He goes, oh yeah, we got chandeliers. I go, okay, I want 3 of them. And then the other thing was the dance floor was really neat. But I tell you, when you were dancing, did you feel it? You were kind of like, you would.
Did you?
Yeah, oh yeah. You kind of like go, I didn't really have much to drink.
I'll tell you what, if we weren't there, you would have had no one on that dance floor.
Yeah, I know. That's why. Well, my brother was really happy that you guys were there, and that's something that's interesting about a wedding. And I highly recommend that to people. You're going to have a wedding or party. You want to get a diverse crew. Like to me, I would have had just the whole beach patrol there. It would have been a lifeguard. You know how I'm at. But we had to invite other people. And yeah, you guys really set a good tone. The other thing that was really nice, like I said, we had the dance floor was a little crooked, and we had a DJ. The guy who was really weird, not weird, I shouldn't say that. Maybe even eccentric, but I guess he has to be that way. Was the photo booth guy. Now this
Oh my
guy,
God.
He was a bit of a character.
he's a character, you know. And I talked to him, and when I first met him, you know, and I didn't harm. It was you know, Virginia took care of it. And he's somebody's cousin or whatever. Actually, he stayed at the place. You know, we comped him, you know, for because he had the guy couldn't go anywhere, you know. But he had, you know, what he did is we're gonna have all of that video, and it's gonna be on a card. We're gonna be showing that. So everybody who's doing like being goofy and everything,
They was recording video footage as well as the photos?
No, it's not. But it'll be every it'll be a photo. So he's going to give me it'll be on a zip drive. We'll have everybody's photo that was taken, and then we could make it into a montage.
That would be cool though if it was like recording everybody while they were pretending to pose and like, talking about posing.
No, but you could run it quick. But there's going to be so much there. But he was funny. He like the things he was wearing. He was walking around talking to people.
He had his collar popped the whole night.
Yeah, he had the collar up, and
Was he boozing?
I don't know.
I might have been. I liked him reading us it would go 4, 3, 2, 1 picture. He would be like a number behind and would always say cheese after the picture.
Yeah, he was like
and he had the same pitch. He was like, all right, now switch spots. And for the third photo, he'd be like, okay, now a big hug every single. I went up there like 6 times. I have so many of those little photo strips.
So and then I had my my nephew and I had the granddaughter. And what happened was the other thing, because they got involved in that, they were at the photo booth. You know, it was like nobody was what do you call it, monitoring them. So they must have taken 100 pictures. You know, and what happened is there was mints in the bathroom. So we had these beautiful, beautiful bathrooms that way, as you well know, brand new, air conditioned. You know, 3 stalls for the women, 1 for the guy. I mean, absolutely beautiful. But we put mints in there, you know, in towels for you to wash your hands and all. And so the kids got in there and they found the mints. Well, that was the end of that. And so now they're on a sugar high. Then when the cake and cookies and then the cake came out, there was, you know, they got involved and they were bouncing off the walls. But they spent a lot of time with that guy. So the photo booth guy was good.
You guys had a good cake too. Well, I love the red velvet and
Yeah.
cream cheese icing.
Yeah, that cake, by the way, was $600 for a cake.
Sheesh.
Gee, we're gonna have that. We're gonna have a party here. We have cake left over.
Sean, wasn't your girlfriend convinced that it wasn't?
She didn't even believe it was a real thing. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
She didn't believe
my girlfriend
what?
didn't know
She
that
didn't-
cream cheese icing was a like a thing.
She thought it was fake cake. Fake
Yeah.
cake.
No,
No,
she
she
cream cheese icing. She didn't.
Oh.
She didn't think that was a real thing.
Oh yeah. The wedding cake. Yeah, it was good.
So here's a question for you. Did anyone get too drunk?
Yeah, was there anybody?
Yes,
Who?
one
Yeah.
guy.
Don't say his name. Like,
No.
but like we know what
Yeah,
happened.
but we know him. He's a good friend of my brother, and I grew up with him too. He knew my mother, father. He's a great guy, but he had a little bit too much. But he didn't drive.
I was
and-
trying my best. I had about 10 of these.
No. But he, when we were, I tell you how bad he was. At the end, when he came, and one of my other buddies, who's a state trooper, was driving him home, and he was, sober, and so he took him out, and then he came back supposedly to use the bathroom. But the girls were cleaning up, the bartenders were cleaning up, and I see him stand there with a $100 bill trying to buy a drink. He's like, "I want to buy a drink. I want to buy a drink," and the girl's like, "Sir, you don't have to pay for it, but we're closing up. It's 10 o'clock." He goes, "I want to buy a drink," and I say to him, "Hey," he goes, "I want to buy you a drink," and he goes, "Buy my buddy a drink here." And they're like, "No." I said, "Don't give him anything." And I went and got the state trooper. I said, "Listen, you got to get him out of here." But he was cute. He's trying to buy a drink.
I know what you're talking about now.
I'm not.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. There's always one, but I tell you what, everybody was really good. What we did is we got some heaters too, and those patio heaters, and we fired them up. And it really wasn't that cold, but some people, like I had a buddy of mine from Florida, if it goes below 80 degrees, he's cold. And because we have some older crowd there, so we had them around the tables, and they were perfect. Actually, we had to turn them down a little bit. They were too hot.
I just love how laid back it was. Like the buffet style was perfect. My least favorite part of weddings is sitting down and eating. Nobody wants to do that. I want to be moving around, dancing, drinking.
Yeah.
Eat when you want. Get your food while it's out. We're not going to all sit down and make a whole meal of it.
But while I'm on it, did you guys have any shrimp?
I didn't even know where it was.
No.
Jeez.
Was it good?
We had so much shrimp. I mean, people. I don't know.
Yeah, we brought the shrimp. Where was the
Yeah,
shrimp at the
it
venue?
leaked all over my car.
I'm telling you, no, it was out there. I saw her putting trays and trays. That next, if I ever do it again, I tell people I would have bought another 100 pounds of shrimp. But you don't want everybody just to eat shrimp. The steak was really good, and there was the hors d'oeuvres. I didn't really get involved in that. Virginia did that. I went to these. She goes, "Oh, let's go get." Here's another thing. So when you go get married now, guys, you're gonna have to go for tasting, right? So and the last thing I want to do is this. So they drag you to this place. It's like usually on a weekend, and the caterer's there,
and
it's
they
like
just give you a bunch of good food.
So they bring out a
and you
ton.
just gotta say if you like it or
Sounds
not.
Yeah,
awful.
and I
You just
said
don't wanna
something.
Sounds like a terrible day.
And you know what?
We'll,
Here's
we'll
the thing.
go for you next time.
So I feel bad for these people because if you don't, they bring out like $100 worth of food, and you sit there and you try this, and they're trying to impress you. And then I had to go to another one. I said, listen, I can't tell the difference. Those little hot dogs are. How much? If you go, I said,
Was that your idea? The pigs in a blanket?
No, they tell you.
I love pigs in a blanket.
They were good with the
Mustard?
the honey mustard. Or no, it was the brown mustard.
You know what
It
they
wasn't honey
do?
mustard.
They have a kind of thing where you want, gluten free. Somebody wants chicken, somebody wants seafood. If you have shrimp, a lot of shrimp, and nobody likes seafood, there's people who don't like seafood or they get allergic to it, so you can't have that. Blah blah. The steak was really good. I had one piece of steak, but I heard
Banging.
that
Steak was banging.
Yeah, and then there was
Steak was mint.
yeah, there was a bunch of other food, and I'm just trying to remember. They gave it to our table, but yeah, it was good. So we wanted the buffet. We didn't want to have it served, especially on an outside environment.
Yeah.
And that's too stuffy. And then of course the hors d'oeuvres came out. That was really good. I think it was for at least an hour and a half. So what was really nice, people don't realize too, what we did is when I got engaged, I took her up to a French restaurant up in New York City. Now she didn't know she was, it was during Christmas time. We were supposed to go up and see the tree, so we had a whole bunch of people with us. Right, this is a great story, and it dovetails into the wedding. So we go to New York, and she wasn't in a good mood. It was like cold, and we went to the tree, and it was packed. This is before Corona, and I mean, we've been together for now about 7-8 years, so it's not like we just met and got married, and so it was packed. You ever been up in New York City where you can't move? It's wall to wall people. I mean, literally, you're getting crushed. And
It's not a good experience for anyone that's not from the
No.
tri-state.
No,
it's
no.
really nothing to like get all
Yeah,
excited
forget about the
It's
tree.
going to the city to see the tree.
so now-
the ambiance of the city during Christmas time is fucking amazing.
yeah, oh,
Like,
yeah,
stay
yeah,
as
yeah.
far away from Rockefeller Center as possible.
Yeah.
It's
So
like-
it is-
it's such a shit show.
No. Well, now too. So we get up there, right? And the whole idea is I was going to have. Here's what I told. I was going to have 2 girls from Juilliard who are going to play the violin. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we're
For
going
your engagement.
right. There's engagement now, and in a French restaurant. So I talked to the guy, and the guy's like, broken English. And I go, listen, this is a engagement. It's a surprise. Okay, and blah 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 blah. And we're going to have the girls come in with the violins. And
Were they playing that same Ed Sheeran
no,
song? that you guys had playing when we rode up?
But and then I said, and what we're going to do is we're going to have dinner, and the dessert, he's going to bring the engagement ring on a little, everybody gets, on the dessert, and with, in a decorative fashion. That was the game plan. Okay, we get to the tree, it's packed. We get in the car, it's bumper to bumper traffic. Now we're getting late. We're supposed to be there, say like 7:00. Well, now it's 7:00 and we ain't even there anywhere. And I'm driving, and she's yelling at me. Now I'm going to ask her to marry me. And she's like, "Come on, can't you drive, you stupid ass?" You know how that goes, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, listen, sweetie. And my her daughter's there. I don't know how many people had a car. And it's like I almost ran somebody over. The taxi cabs, they cut you right off. I mean, you ever drive in New York City? You've driven it. Yeah, I mean, if anybody
being
in the
a
world,
shore kid, like being in the city too long or driving in the city is not the thing.
if you've never driven in New York City, you have an experience. If you could drive, like saying, if you could make it in New York City, you can make it anywhere. If you could drive in New York City, you can.
I was leaving. Me and my sister took my niece to the Museum of Natural History around this time last year, actually, and I had to make it home by like 6 to get to work. We left at like 1:30. By like 4:00, we hadn't even gotten to the tunnel yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there cursing with my 12-year-old niece in the back. People are cutting me off. It is the worst experience.
So I got a
city.
question for you. In New York City, what's the smallest amount of time? What's the smallest amount of time in New York City?
Minute.
No. Well, the time it takes for the red light to go from red to green, and somebody beeped their horn to make you move. I mean, the light, as the second it changes, if you don't put the foot on the gas, they'll be beeping your horn, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, so let me finish the story about the violins. So we get there, now we're late, right? And so first thing I do, we go to the table, and there's friggin' balloons on the ceiling and a big banner. Congratulations. It's supposed to be.
And Virginia's probably like, did someone get engaged?
No. And I'm like, oh, it must be somebody. So she goes, look at this. I go, it must be somebody's birthday, you know. Of course, it's right around where we're sitting, the table. So that's the first thing. So then it's late. So then the girls, you know, they're waiting, and look, these girls are getting paid big money, and they're like, hey, listen, it's Saturday night, we gotta get going, you know. So we had to pay them more money. Like I had to have the Virginia's daughter go in the bathroom and make a cash deal, you know, like please stay longer. They were cool, but so they come out, the violins, it's so nice, and then and people in the bar are like, oh, the bar, you know, the restaurant, they have violins. I'm like, oh, I'm paying for it, you know, they don't know. So she's still not getting it. So we're finished, because at this point we're finishing up the meal, but we're not there yet. And then they bring out champagne, and I'm like, what's this about? So they bring out the champagne, and a big glass, for, a tall glass, and she's got one, and everybody's got one, and we're going to give a toast. And I'm like, what? Where's the ring and everything? So we said, okay, and I see Brittany trying to talk to me. Now in the meantime, I had a couple cocktails, you know. I mean, not a lot, but I mean enough where I can't.
Tuned up.
And the bar is kind of dark. I mean, and she's, I don't know sign. I mean, I can't read lips, you know. And she's saying something to me. So we clip the glass and we start drinking. And as Virginia is drinking, the ring is the bottom of the glass. And I see her. I mean, I can still see it in my mind. Slow motion. She's lifting up, and I can see the ring going, sliding down. I grabbed the glass from her. She would have swallowed it. I mean. Can you imagine?
I've never understood the ring in the champagne.
I didn't want it. That was
dumb.
It's dumb. And
You're gonna choke.
You can. I'll be giving the Heimlich maneuver. Pops out. I'll grab it, and I'll be like. So I stopped it. I poured it in my hand, and then I kneeled on the bench. It was a bench seat, and then of course everybody clapped and blah blah blah. But it was good. So anyway, that's the history of the violins. So now 6 years later, whatever, we got married. And while she was coming in on the boat, we had the violins, 2 violins, and a cello. Actually, not the same girls, but they were from Juilliard. And I can tell you right now, it was just absolutely beautiful. That if you want to talk about professional, and one of my buddies who got married many, many years ago, over like 30 years ago, they had a band, and in between the band, they would have the guys and girls walk around with a violin and play it. And it was just beautiful, So that was nice, and everybody really appreciated that. So that was the violin thing. So that was really one thing that I was really happy about. And of course, the boat. My fear was that she would, you guys would have dropped her in the water, which did not happen. And listen, that boats are very tippy. People don't understand. Those boats, they could tip.
Rock a little.
A couple people came up to us and they were like, "Oh man, I wish you pretended to mess up out there," but we didn't need to because we actually did mess up. But I'll tell you what, Kachmar. The amount of work you had us do on Saturday, there would have been no booze if there weren't for me and Sean.
I know you guys came there.
The amount of fucking cases of beer we carried.
Well, the thing is, we hired the bartenders, but they were good for the bartending, but they were supposed to, and the wedding guy, what it is, they get overwhelmed, and that's why I said, listen, I told you guys,
we were working so hard that because we were still carrying beer when guests started showing up. People started thinking we were the help. They would say, they would be like, "Hey guys, they saw us. They saw us kicking it on the front porch, drinking a couple beers. They shot us a weird look."
Yeah.
Well, that was another thing. Nobody's supposed to see the bride, and then people are coming early. And
Virginia also was just everywhere, taking pictures everywhere early.
Right. Well, what happened is we had a photographer, and that girl was, not managing her time. And then, of course, they want to get pictures. But this is how things happen, while you try to. That's why we actually hired a weather planning on site. It would have been even worse if he wasn't there. That poor guy, you see him, he was sweating and everything. He was trying to, get everything together. I think everything was fine. You guys, that's why I wanted you guys to.
I got a story about how much of a control freak Kachmar is.
Why? What did I do?
We're about an hour and a half into the wedding. I think we hadn't even had dinner yet. They were calling you to do toasts. And the lights in the bathroom shut off.
Oh, that's where you were focused.
And then this guy is behind the bathroom, fucking with the fuse box, trying to fix it. me and the wedding planner are trying to pull you out like catch. They need you for toast right now. Let us figure this out.
Right.
You're like, nah, I think we got to change a fuse or something.
Right. What it was a brand new, I mean, we paid a lot of money for that. That's a brand new, huge bathroom setup. And what happened was interesting, is that it was connected up to the generator. We had a huge generator there, 9,500 watts. And what it was is that the switch for the generator for that plug was not on. So it was running on battery and then it went out. The thing is, they came to me and says, we got a major problem here. There's no lights in the bathroom. It was still light out, but the toilets weren't flushing appropriately. And the one was getting backed up. And so I finally just grabbed the whole wedding planner and I said, get it fixed.
Which is what you should have done.
Yeah, but half hour went by and it wasn't fixed. Okay.
Yeah.
And I could have, if I gave it another 5 minutes, I would have figured it out because we were troubleshooting it, and I realized that there was no light in the cable, and I figured it was a generator because I had 2 other guys. My brother does this kind of work, and it was another guy, John, and we would probably just you couldn't see the switch, but anyway. But I have it. I want things to go. Oh, here's the Donna says Steve is his brother. Said he is an electrical engineer. Is that true, Mike? No, he's not an electrical engineer. My brother, it works for. He's worked. I guess you could say he works for New Jersey Central Power Light. He's a lineman.
Okay. So what Kenny does?
Yes. Well, Kenny's learning. Kenny's like on the beginning stage.
He's still in his
training.
apprenticeship.
Right. Same thing with BJ. BJ's more advanced, but my brother is like a senior guy. So
BJ's got to be done with his apprenticeship by now, right?
Nah, I think it's a couple of years. You go for a long time. I don't know.
He's been doing it for like 5 years.
I don't know. He's getting close. But anyway, my brother's not an engineer. He works for that. But so let's go back. So then the bathroom was a little bit. So that was good. The violins were really good. We had the buffet. We wanted that. The food, we got it from the Spring Lake Manor. Shout out to them. High end, beautiful, great food, and they do high end stuff. So it was really good. The DJ, like I said, was actually another friend of the family, but he did a great job, I thought. And then of course the photo booth guy, he was kind of like, he was a little, he was funny. And then what else did we have there? The servers were great. The bartenders were really good. Now I didn't, they did a great job. And we got 2 bartenders because I wanted to keep the alcohol flowing. Did you guys have any problems? Did you have any problems with it?
I just drank the Guinness all night, so I didn't even bother going.
So the
to
other thing that we did though, and this talk about being a little bit,
that fine line between rustic and redneck.
Right. So what we did is Sean and I and Tyler, we took big bins.
Did Catch put his hands on any beer?
I don't know
or
if he
ice?
did. I don't
I
know.
drank sangria. So
No, I'm talking about when we were filling the bins.
I don't know. Well, that's your job. So we filled out these bins and put them on 4 corners of the dance floor so people could grab them, and that was really good. And the other thing is, what was the other thing? So we had signature drinks. So my signature drink was sangria. So we had a big thing of sangria. And
are you a sangria guy?
Nah, I like it. I mean, it's not. I don't drink it every day. I mean, I drink wine here now and then. And then Virginia had her drink
Aperol Spritz.
Aperol Spritz,
Which I actually had. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it's not
My
bad.
girlfriend was loving those.
First time ever
She,
trying
she
it.
always has Aperol
Yeah.
Spritzes when we go out.
Yeah. So it's like kind of like a.
It's like a bougie white girl drink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But what you do is for a wedding, you're supposed to, I guess this is.
Yeah, I always try the bride and groom's drinks. no matter
Right.
wedding.
Of course, then we had the table over there.
I just go straight for the whiskey and Budweiser.
Well, we had a lot. We had a whole mix. So Donna says, not Steve. Steve said you went to school before getting MD as an electrical. Electrical major. My father wanted me to go into electrical engineering. The Stevens Institute of Technology. My dad worked for General Motors, and General Motors had a scholarship program. So you go work for them. If you work for General Motors, you as a son of one of the employees, they had a program, and then you work for General Motors when you come out. You got a guaranteed job. I mean, it's probably a good home run. I don't know if they do that anymore. So that was pretty good. So the beer, the dance floor, the electric went out a little bit. The lights were great. The chandeliers. When it got dark, it was beautiful. We were dancing. Oh, let's not forget the other key thing that we showed was Ava singing. Can you just pull it up real quick? Just show. So this here, I want to show you this here.
This is one of the many times Kachmar was teary-eyed.
So this is the 9-year-old granddaughter who I love so much, and she lifeguards. She's been buoy swims. Sailing for 2 years now, and it's just Look at her. She was scared. It's a joy watching her grow up, you know.
So,
And
Sean,
I can't wait to see what she turns into, you know.
We saw him tearing up then when
we
Nick
all
showed up.
when we all like got there when he saw us all together.
Yeah, I got a little. You guys, you know what it is. And I know I bust your balls when we work and everything, but a lot. You know, you guys are like my kids, and you know, for you guys to be there for me, that's you know, I think you underappreciate it. I mean, you guys are young, but when you get older, and you know, you're getting towards the end of your years, you realize that the only thing that's really important in life is friends and family. And there's a lot of people who have no friends, and we know a couple people who there's no friends, and I mean they got family, but I don't even know if their family likes them. So I know that, and I appreciate that. And like when you guys came there, that was such a great. And I think that one of the reasons why the wedding was so nice and so great is that everybody, there was so much love there. There was so much fun. There was, and everybody I invited there, all my friends, we spent many years together through a lot of ups and downs. And that's, that's why I want to get that speech that I made. And that was sincere. I didn't have to memorize that speech. That speech that I gave was from the heart. It was just, that was accurate, truthful, just history.
Well, and, when you said, I could die right now, I could tell you really meant that.
For the kid, yeah.
No, just when you were like, I'm just so happy,
yes,
like that this is happening, and I could literally drop dead right now.
Yeah. I think I could think that. Yeah, I think everybody. Yeah, and that was coming from the heart because what else do I? I worked hard. I made it. What I got a beautiful family. I got a beautiful wife. I got great friends, and even though you guys I bust we work, but you when I through my eyes I see good and bad, and all you guys are good people. And that's why I said something. I said, people, you hear the one guy I said to you, I said, everybody's concerned about the United States and the world and the youth. And I said, right here, you guys represent the best. And, if everybody was like you guys, we'd have no problems, so it was good.
We
but
try.
But anyway, other than, you didn't listen to me when I told you not to go, into the mud, but you did. But, I tell you what was going through my mind, I saw you guys sitting out there. I'm like, I hope they have enough brains to jump out and push the friggin' boat. And what you got to do is, if it didn't move with you, then you would have had to get out, and you would have been able to drag it, and you could have dragged that boat all the way. And then, I would have had Brown or something. I would say, guys, take your clothes off and get in the water. And then if they couldn't do it, I'd be taking my stuff off. We would have dragged her in.
Lifeguard rescue.
We would have dragged her in.
We would have swam out a rope can.
We would have dragged her in. But no, it was good. So, the whole thing was really, really good. The speeches were good. Of course, the speeches that her two daughters gave, I like the one, I like what she said when she goes, now, everybody knows, Virginia's very tall. She's taller than I am by, a long shot. And her daughters, everybody in that family, they're 6 foot. I don't know how they're Amazon. They're big. And so the one daughter gets up there and she goes, I'm going to keep this short and sweet, just like Mike. It took me like 1 or 2 seconds to get the joke. I thought that was pretty funny. That was cute.
Have you always been into the tall women?
Nah, not really, but I've dated, quite a few, it never intimidated me, I didn't think, I feel, it's funny.
When you were telling us before about what it's like going out to dinner with all of them, and you're sitting there looking up to everybody.
Yeah,
when Virginia wears heels.
I can't even kiss her. I have to get on my tippy toes. But, and her daughter, but the funny thing is, you think about it, when you're really tall like that, it's not, you limit the amount of guys or girls that you go out with. If you're a 6'2" foot girl, it's tough to go out with a guy who's 5'9". There's not a lot of guys who, now your pool is going down. You need to date people who are really tall or taller than you. And, so if you have to make compromise. It's funny because I talked to Virginia, she's very tall, and all her daughters. And they said all through their life, they get tired of people saying, oh, how tall are you? They actually get kind of down on it. And it shows in his, there was a couple, videos about how it gets to be a real pain in the ass when you're really tall, especially.
The grass is always greener type thing.
Yeah.
Sean and I were actually talking about a friend that we have that, literally the most handsome person a lot of us know, sick athlete, but everyone's always coming up to him and saying, oh man, like you're the greatest athlete. Oh man, like you're so good looking. Oh man, this, that. And I could just see how he would just be like,
Yeah, there's
guys,
more
like,
to him.
like, yeah, I'm not just this like
Yeah.
chiseled, beautiful face with a great body. You know, like I'm smart. I have other things to me.
But when Virginia, I mean, she's very pretty now, but especially years ago, she walks in a room, she's with her heels on. I mean, she's just, it's a show shopper. So her daughters, they're very pretty and they're tall. When you get,
I loved her look at the wedding. I told when she got on the boat, I was like, you look like you're getting married at Woodstock right now. She had like the flower.
That was the day.
girl
That was the day.
laces.
She wanted to go with the hippie look.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
'cause,
it was awesome.
that was our era. Not
You
when
look
we
pretty
were.
sharp in your suit too.
Yeah. We were a little bit younger. So our days. We graduated. I graduated high school in '76. So if you think about
Star Wars.
yeah, and in the
Is
'70s,
that how you think about the world?
That's a big
Pre and post,
part.
like is pre and post Star Wars? You're like AD.
I actually grade rookies
DC?
now if they were born pre-LeBron. So like pre-LeBron in the NBA. I was like, jeez.
my the funny thing is I have a lot of reincarnations. I went to high school then, so the '70s, late '70s, early '80s were cranking. I mean, that was this bicentennial 200 year bicentennial, excuse me. And the Vietnam War was finishing up. It was a weird time. And then of course there was a lot of unrest. And then you came into the '80s. I was in school a lot of times with the '80s, but the '90s were my probably solid lifeguarding. Those 10 years, the '90s. I mean, already I was a doctor. I was practicing, and I was working on the beach.
That was your prime.
Yeah, and there was some really crazy years and good years and some big storms. 2000,
So what were you like in your late 30s?
Yeah, mid 30s. Let me see. Right around when
So you're 18
2000,
and
2000 I was
76.
about 39, 40.
Okay.
So they 46. So that makes sense. Yeah, I was like just not even turned 40 yet. And then, of course, I got divorced in 2000. And then, those years, the economy took a crapper in 2008. But bottom line is that the years on the beach patrol were really the 90s, and just recently. But but Virginia, her era was a little bit later. But the hippie deal, and she kind of likes that, and I thought that was pretty nice. That was all her deal. The dress. I thought she had a beautiful dress. And it was her idea. It was her idea
like
about the boat again.
Was her dress like an off-white? I feel like it wasn't totally.
Yeah, I don't know. And actually had a long train to it, and she had it, redone. Yeah, I don't know.
I remember being relieved when I saw her dress, because like if like anything got on it, it wouldn't have been easy to notice. If it were just like a clean, totally white dress, like the lace, and I think there was a little bit of off-white going on in there.
Probably, yeah. I don't.
But
think
we made sure we cleaned the shit out of that boat before she got in there.
Yeah. She looked fine.
We had the Clorox wipes.
And then we got it all muddy when I jumped out and jumped back in.
So
he got out of the boat. He had the biggest dirt stain on his ass, and I was just like,
I know. I felt bad for you guys.
responsible for
I
this.
saw somebody jump in. You know what it is though? A lot of people couldn't see that it was stuck because it was behind the bushes. Like if the trees were, The other thing is a lot of people didn't know where she was coming from. They were waiting for her to come from the back. They're like, well, where is she?
That's pretty cool though.
That's
Well,
like,
because I didn't tell everybody about the boat, and then they see this boat, and they're like, "Oh!" And then they see her, and they're like, "So the priest." Let me get back to the pastor. So he, we go. I went to a Catholic school, but we go to a Christian, church. It's called Abundant Life, out up in Freehold, and Pastor Chris.
Are you in Virginia on the same page, like religiously?
Oh yeah, we go to the same church. Oh yeah, no. You listen. You have a hard time marrying somebody or being with somebody if you're not in the same religion, kind of same politics, economically, close. Because what breaks up marriages or anything, relationships, is money. You don't be violent, but also if you cheating, stuff like that. But religion breaks up a lot of families. So no, we're on the same page. But so the pastor, we've been going to that church for years. 6, 7, 8 years. I don't even remember now. And he gives the best sermons. He's very professional. He's not like
Is that the guy that married you guys?
Not selling oil. He's not one of those
selling snake oil.
No. I mean, him and his family. They live a very modest life, and I mean, he's just good. You can see. He's
not like that Joel Osteen dude.
No. Those guys. Yeah, those guys are gonna burn in hell.
What do they call them? Evangelists.
Yeah. I don't know. They're shaky guys. Anyway,
that guy. Didn't he not open his fucking arena for like a hurricane or something
But
for a shelter.
But so what happened is, so people who watch when we do the videos, you'll see the pastor, and he gave such an unbelievable sermon. I think it was really good. And people who go to church often and have a pastor talk to them, they told me, they go, that guy was unbelievable. So we had somebody who's really, really good. That's another important thing. It's nice to have somebody up there. You could get somebody's uncle or make it not really professional. But this guy runs a big church. So what are we going to say?
I think you're getting to the point where he said that was the first time you saw anyone do that with the bride.
Right. So while she's coming in, and he goes, Mike, he goes, I've been to hundreds and hundreds of weddings. He goes, I've never seen anything like that coming in with the boat, because they always come down the aisle.
So guys, we're thinking about making it a potential business opportunity. We're going to start rowing brides to weddings, if anyone knows.
On a more serious note, now that we have you as our captive audience, Catch, we've been batting about the idea of doing like a serious distance row in that boat, dressed exactly how we were dressed, and trying to like raise some money for something like suicide awareness.
It's not a bad idea.
So if you have any doctor buddies that want to throw us a few shekels to do that, let's. I think we should start seriously thinking about that.
That'd be something to do good in the spring,
Oh yeah, not right now.
Well, yeah, take that, but we got to. If we do that, that's something we really have to start like digging our heels in.
And I tell you, it'd be really good.
ASAP.
It'd be really good. You started out in you could start out in Seaside Heights. You could go through the canal through what do you call Ortley Beach there into Lavalette around West Point Island in the cove, and either end up West Point or come back.
We're thinking like the entire length of New Jersey over like 2 or 3 days.
I could do that.
You'll kill yourself.
What do you mean? No, someone already did that. Like this summer, they did that.
Well, I mean,
And it was for Lyme's disease.
He doesn't think we could do it.
Yeah.
No. I think though, you got a lot of variables with it. But I can tell you what though, the idea is good. I would have a 1-day event, build it up, and it could be really good, and have a little party afterwards. And like the what really works well for people to make a lot of money is like the polar bear plunge. You market it. You have it where people can see it, and you don't have to row. You don't have to do that. If you row from a couple miles and come back, just the idea of doing it is really pretty neat.
Even what we're talking about.
We want
if
an
we
extreme distance challenge.
And if we row to like where we think like a headquarters is for a beach patrol, we could pull out our phone and take a picture and tag the tag.
The other thing,
or we could do it all in the bay,
right?
Like the whole way up the bay.
Right.
How far do you think? Do you think we could get from like where is it, Cape May to Sandy Hook, all on the inside? Do you think we could do it in 24 hours of rowing?
No.
You don't think so?
First of all, you're not going to be
24 hours of nonstop rowing. You don't think we can pull that off?
First of all, you're not going to be able to row 24 hours. You'll die out. And the other thing is, what'll happen is you got to worry about weather and the wind, and it could be really nasty. You could get so windy there, you're not even going to row against it. You'll be blown all over the place. But I think it's a great idea. We have to get the specifics. We could talk about it. But I want to, what I wanted to ask you guys, because I think it's getting time, we could pack it in. We're going to do a video. We'll take a clip from here or two, but you guys are going to work on a video for the wedding. And we're waiting for people to send us videos. We're putting everything together. And we got a lot more stuff, so we're gonna show it out there. Maybe we'll even do a little bit more next week with the show, with the wedding. This could be really good. But anyway, thank everyone for watching.
Next time you get married, we're on the payroll.
You're on the payroll. No, you guys did a great job. Well, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts, right? And we
get asked to row a boat, and it turns into us spending our whole weekend moving beer and pallets and rocks.
Well, I appreciate you guys. You did. I couldn't have done without you. And we got to give a shout out again to Jesse Brown. We had
Nick Tomasello, Kenny Doherty. Who else is there? Frank
the Tank Guadagno.
And how do you pronounce Frank's last name again?
Guadagno.
Frank's. I tell you what, I know I cut around with him on the beach. He's a class. All those guys were there are solid. And
that's why we surround ourselves.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You want to be successful. It was good. And what I did is, I let Tyler. I asked Tyler to pick the guys who work together And but the thing is, we all go to Jesse Brown. Jesse Brown's the go guy because he could pick her up and carry her if he had to. He's so big, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he was there. But anyway, Sean, thank you for
No problem.
for helping out, and Tyler. And great.
If you want to stay alive, then maybe you should stay out.
And how about we put down Dr. Kachmar iCloud.com? Can you throw that up there?
If you want to email us, send an email to drkachmar@icloud.com or lifeguardsoffduty@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at lg.association. We're making the march towards 1,000. Help us get there. What else do we want to shout out?
1K.
Shout out to Spark Player Development, one of our pseudo sponsors. I got a couple T-shirts from them. Anything else, Sean?
Walden on the Pond. If anybody wants to go to bed
Shout
and
out
breakfast.
to Walden on the Pond, Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center. If you need any surgery,
Yes.
hit up my guy, Dr. Michael Kachmar. He'll get you right.
All right. Thank you very much. Everyone, have a beautiful day and stay out and stay alive. Stay out and stay alive. All right.
Stay outside.
Send us out. Send us out.
Send us out.
Send us out.
We're done.